First of all, I want to congratulate the Lakers. They played a hell of a series. Great team. I want to congratulate Darvin and his staff. I thought they coached a brilliant series. Darvin has done an amazing job this year. In his rookie year as a coach, he's pretty much seen it all. And you can see his poise and just his nature on the sidelines, how important that's been for their team, given everything that they've been through to get to this point. And so congrats to Darvin and the staff and their team. Of course, LeBron and AD are just brilliant players. They controlled the series. I thought we had our chances. To me, the series came down to games 1 and 4. And the Lakers outplayed us in the key stretches of those games, down the stretch. And that's really the difference, but the better team won. So congrats to them and good luck to them moving forward. Just want to also say how proud I am of our guys. It's been a long and difficult season in many ways, but our guys hung in there. And to be here, to have a chance, in the conference semis, when for much of the season we were kind of adrift, it shows the character of our group and how they stuck together. And I want to really salute Wiggs for being there for our guys tonight. He's in a ton of pain, and he did everything possible to be available and did everything he could to make an impact. And it's been a difficult season for Wiggs in a lot of ways, but he's always there for us, and that's why we love him and need him. But our guys hung in there, and we had a shot, and we just couldn't quite do it, but the better team won. And as I said, couldn't be more proud of our group. Questions?
Steve, what are your emotions right now? I mean, it's been a long time since you've seen this team season ended. You've never seen it ended at this stage.
Yeah. Combination of just being sad for our team, for our players. At the same time, very realistic. As I said, the better team won, and I can't fault our players for the effort, our staff, everybody doing everything possible to win. So there's no regrets, but it's losing sucks. It just does. It's this is the highest competition in the world, and our guys just thrive in competition. And we came up short today. So because these guys are such competitors, it's going to hurt. But that's why we play. It's to compete against the best and see what we got. And didn't quite have enough, but it wasn't for a lack of heart or effort.
As you kind of take the bigger picture view of the season, I know you even mentioned the adversity throughout. What do you think kind of just overall went wrong this year?
I think I'm more focused on what went right, to be honest with you. The way the season started, we were disjointed and had that 0-5 road trip, and it felt like we were swimming upstream from the beginning. I think we found ourselves down the stretch and in the first round of the playoffs. And to be fair, I think this team probably, ultimately maxed out. I think we were barely in the playoff picture for most of the year. So to make that push, to get there, to win an epic first-round series, and then, to give the Lakers, a fight in this series and have our chances. That puts us in the top, among the top, 8 teams in the league. That's probably where we should be. This is not a championship team. If we were, we'd be moving on. So you can look at the year in total and see all the ups and downs, and there was all kinds of stuff that went on and adversity that hit, but our group stayed together and competed till the end and made a pretty good run.
Steve, over here. Steph and Klay were, I think, 6 for 26 from 3 today, and obviously that was an issue a bit throughout the series. Is anything with the way the Lakers defended them and how, at the root of it, how difficult is it to win when the 2 of the greatest shooters ever struggle like they did?
Yeah, the Lakers have a great defense. I felt when we came in this building late in the regular season, after they had made their trades and sort of reshuffled their deck, I remember walking into the locker room saying, that's a great defensive team. Like not good, but great. And so I give them credit. I thought, starting Schroeder today on Steph, Schroeder put a lot of pressure on him. It made the passing angles a little tougher in pick and roll. And I just think, Davis at the rim is, he's obviously a huge obstacle and not only shot blocker, but guy who takes up a lot of space and cuts down a lot of passing lanes. And so I thought the Lakers' defense was great. With that said, I thought we had some open looks early, and to me, we were just in a little bit of a rush. I thought we were forcing the issue in the first quarter and missed a lot of open ones that maybe could have gotten us off to and gotten us into a better rhythm.
Steve, that was pretty, they made Steph work a lot. They had him, they isolated him a lot, trapped him a lot. How do you think he, handled that as the primary creator? And where do you think that ranks among how tough he was played or how much he had to work in the series since you coached?
Yeah, he obviously, this is 2 series in a row where he was playing about 40 minutes a night. The Lakers made him work. Obviously, that's every team's strategy, is to try to put him in pick and roll and try to wear him down. And I thought they did a good job of that. But playing every other day for the last few weeks, it's hard to sit here and claim that didn't affect Steph and Klay's jumpers in these last few games. So maybe a little bit of fatigue and some great defense from the Lakers, and we just couldn't quite find the rhythm.
Steve, I know that you're still in the wash of just the series and you've been in it, and obviously we all turn our attention to what comes next. And you guys have, if it's not a championship team, this ownership group has historically been willing to sort of pay whatever it takes to field a championship team. Does what you guys did this year, does it make a convincing argument to keep this all together or to retool it in certain ways?
I think it's probably too raw right now for me to think about. The one thing I will say is that, Draymond, Klay, Steph, our core guys, they've got plenty left to offer. There's still plenty in the tank there. I thought they all had great seasons and may not have ended on a high note, but all 3 guys are still high-level players, and I still feel like this team has championship potential. We didn't get there this year, but it's not like this is the end of the rope. But the organization has some decisions to make, and we'll eventually get to that point.
Steve, what was going on with Draymond's calf tonight, and how would you summarize what kind of season this was for him as a whole?
What was going on with Draymond?
Draymond's calf.
His cast?
Calf.
His calf. I was like, he had a cast on? He when he went to the locker room, Drew Yoder told me that his ankle and calf were bothering him, so he was getting worked on for much of the second half. So I haven't talked to Rick or Yodes since, but he did come back in the game. So I'm not quite sure how bad it is.
Hey, Steve, kind of along the lines of what you're talking about with looking ahead, what has working with Bob meant to you over the years? And I guess how would you gauge your optimistic level that you guys will continue to work together?
Yeah, Bob and I have been partners for 9 years now, and he's an integral part of everything that we do, and I rely on him for a ton. So I hope he's back. He's a great friend. He's a hell of a GM. He's responsible for a lot of what has happened here. So hopefully he's back, but he has to figure that out.
Steve, you mentioned before we were talking about not being a championship team and the trials that you guys went through this season, but when did you start to feel that? Was it just because of the loss tonight, or was it somewhere earlier in the season?
No, I think, I think, how many road games did we win? 11. So, you go 11 and 30 on the road during the regular season. That's not what championship teams do. So it felt like all season we were desperately trying to recapture, what we had last year. And we did a pretty damn good job of finding something here over the last month. I think we won our last 5 or 6 regular season games to come back from 2-0 against a hell of a Sacramento team, and to give this Laker team the fight that we did, be in this competition. We came close to recapturing what we had, but we didn't quite get there. So in my mind, we didn't feel like a championship team all year, but we had the guts and the fortitude to still believe, and we made a pretty good push. We just couldn't get there.
Yeah, I was going to be my follow-up question, was this playoff push. You have been really saying we're a different team than we were the regular season. So I guess my question was just like, how did you guys see that and stuff?
Yeah, I think the reason it unfolded the way it did, and that we did come close to recapturing that, is we got Wiggs back and we got Gary back. And, last year we were second-ranked defense in the league. Most of this year we struggled defensively. When those two guys came back, it gave us a lift. It gave our point of attack defense a dramatic lift. And I think we've been one of the best defensive teams in the playoffs through 2 rounds. So in my mind, we found it because of the return of those 2 guys and getting healthy and everybody really staying connected and competing.
Steve, you've been through a lot of championship runs as a player and a coach. Where does this season rank as far as how exhausting it has been? That seems like the word that nobody's saying, but that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, I left my guys in the locker room just now and to come down here, and you could see, the looks in their eyes, just the combination of fatigue and disappointment, and I think at the same time just a level of, we really gave it a push. Like I don't think Draymond's going to come in here and have any regrets about the way this season ended. I think he'll probably agree with me that the better team won, but I love my guys, the way they compete, the way they stayed with it. They're champions for a reason, and you don't get to win it every year, but our guys sure think they're going to. And so again, love those guys, proud of them, and we just couldn't quite get it done. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Darvin, you've kind of hung your hat on defense with this team all season long. How did you feel like tonight was an example of that? And do you feel like that's the main thing that got you to where you want to go getting out of the series?
Totally. A great defense is the best offense. I just think our guys' focus and film study, the communication, going through our walkthroughs, talking through scenarios, switching up different matchups, switching up different lineups in our walkthroughs. I think it all helps. I think everybody, working really hard to be on the same page, make sure we're on the same page. Each and every individual, each and every coach. It's just a hell of a job by everybody. And kudos to Golden State, man. It was a hell of a series. They're defending champs multiple times over for a reason. It's a tough team that makes you work, not just during the game, but even off hours, like in between game day. You're trying to just dig through the film and just seeing what different nuances they're throwing at you. How can you defend them? How can you score? They really put a lot of pressure on you to be on, on your P's and Q's. So salute to those guys. But I'm super duper proud of our guys. The players, the coaches, Rob, Jeannie. I'm so happy for the entire organization to be able to sit here and be in this position. Have, a challenging year to say the least, but at the end of the day, we kept powering through. Our vibes stayed positive. Once we righted the ship and switched out some pieces, it came together, and I'm just happy and thankful that I get to sit in this seat and enjoy the ride.
We talked about LeBron before the game. You said you're going to need something from everybody.
Yes.
But just now, that performance tonight in this stage of his career, how would you summarize it?
Man, just our leader. He and Abe both has been our leader, not just by chatter, by example. Stepping up, playing big in the biggest of moments. Those guys really helping the young guys, really communicating with the coaching staff. And again, it's things that we all see out there, and everybody communicating with one another, sharing dialogue, having dialogue, to find the best way, not your way, my way, his way, their way, but the best way to go about our business. And so it was on display tonight. Did a great job playing downhill with 1 assist, 1 rebound, short of a triple-double. Fingerprints all over the game, steals, block shot, and then just controlling the glass. Dennis setting the tone on Steph early defensively. D'Angelo playing solid, doing a little bit of everything. Austin, Lonnie, Rui, Vando, all of those guys, man, just pitching in and really making plays all over the place, on and off the ball. Some stuff that shows up in the stat sheet, some won't. But at the end of the day, it was a good, solid, really huge team win.
Darvin, congrats on closing out tonight.
Thank you.
LeBron, the offense running through him early on really felt like it set the tone. How much of that was by design?
A lot. We want to put pressure on Steph and Klay and Jordan to have to guard, defend, multiple actions, to sort of try to take some energy out of their legs, forcing them to defend multiple plays, multiple actions, initiating versus them, seeing them on the second side, going to another second side action, even a third side action, or just isolating them in a situation where they had to guard on the ball or guard screeners or get hit, by us screening them. So I thought it worked out well. It was a lot of dialogue, again, between the coaches, players, Bron, us throwing stuff at them responding with different things. By the time I get to the huddle, they already have a good idea, a good, clear idea how they want to attack, and that is great. Just to have a team with an IQ like that that's not just waiting to be told something, and that's okay too. But when you're coaching and everybody's just an interactive situation, the care factor. It takes the care factor to a whole entirely different level, a positive one at that. And so our offensive attack, we just want to, again, not settle, not play soft, not play slow. We want to really just go downhill, live in the paint, and I think you saw that from the amount of free throws we took. We just stayed aggressive.
Darvin, over here. I hate to spin your head, but I will. What's the game plan for Jokic, and what have you thought about the way he's played in the playoffs so far?
BT, if you're around on Sunday, I will let you know. You're not going to push the fast forward button on me that fast. We already know that monster in the Rocky Mountains that's waiting on us. But we're going to take it. Is it okay if we enjoy this one tonight? Do you
Yes, you
mind?
can. Yes, you can, Darvin.
I appreciate you. Nice suit, by the way.
Making
No,
me
no
feel
more,
good about
no more
myself.
Denver questions, please. I'm just joking.
Darvin, two for you. Austin shot at the end of the first half. As they've shown the ability to close in flashes. How important was that shot, do you think, for this team? And then, secondly, after you guys beat Memphis, LeBron sat in that locker room and talked about the levels and how each level was going to get harder. Did you see your team soak that message in tonight, especially in the way that they never really let Golden State come all the way back or really make it close?
Absolutely. Austin's shot was a huge shot in the arm for us to take the lead back to double digits. And I was already pissed at him because I felt like he turned down some good looks, on catch. They close out with him a lot, close out to him a lot with their hands down to the defense. And I feel like, he's one of those guys I just want him shooting it every time he touches the ball when he's open. So he had turned down a couple. I think one of them ended up in a turnover. And then, for him to knock that down, again, take the lead back to 10 points. I think it was a 10-point lead at halftime. It was great. And then, you just saw the focus when we went through some clips at halftime. Looking at, trying to get better on the defensive glass was one of the main priorities. And also continuing to play downhill, not to settle, not to let the first 24 minutes go to waste. And so the guys came out with a focus, and then, it was great. What was the second part of the question, Dan? I'm sorry.
What LeBron said after the
Oh, yeah.
And was the message similar again today?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right on point. We surpassed level 1 against Memphis. Now we surpassed level 2 against Golden State. And now level 3 is, it's going to be a hell of a challenge. We're going to enjoy this one tonight. Take some time, get our thoughts together, recharge the battery tomorrow, and then really come ready to work on Sunday and putting together a game plan, which we've already started the process on. I just think, and this is what the league is about. The fewer teams, the tougher the matchups, the more skilled the players. Talking about two-time MVP with a well-balanced squad, hungry, great synergy, great chemistry, great ability, athleticism, shooting, all of the above. So we're going to have our work cut out for us, but, they got to guard us too. And so we're going to do our due diligence, as we always do, and just be prepared for game one. But right now we're going to soak all of this in and try to enjoy this tonight, fill our cups back up tomorrow, and be ready to go back to work on Sunday.
Darvin, one of LeBron's favorite phrases is saying he likes being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And now that you've been through the first year on the inside and seeing that sometimes the teams he plays for attract all sorts of attention that can lead to uncomfortable situations when he's not even calling for it sometimes. Do you feel like that journey can steel a group, can build a group to be ready for the intensity of the playoffs, because the regular season can maybe involve more scrutiny than it would for a team that LeBron doesn't play for?
Absolutely. They expect nothing but greatness from him, and not off of what he always says or how articulate he can, relay something in an interview or pre or post game interview. Like, it's about the work he's put in and where he's placed himself, not just in this league today, but amongst the greats. And so that's always going to be the case. The biggest thing is, can you stay solid? Can you stay consistent? That's the one thing he respects. My short time being his head coach, known him for years, but now being able to see it up close, the consistency, the level-headedness, coming to work with a plan. Things don't go your way, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, you try to see the silver lining and the glass half full in all situations. And the year we've been through, the way we started to get to this point now, and then the changes that were made to our roster, basically flipping our roster, and the way those guys came in with a hunger and, this vibrant energy because a lot of those guys in his locker room have never been this far in their individual careers. So it forces Bron to be more vocal. It forces AD to be more vocal. We pick up Tristan Thompson, a great addition from a mental, spiritual standpoint, someone who can also still play. And so you bring all of that positive energy, productive energy, everyone pulling in the same direction. It's cool. And we just got to, again, stay humble with our success and just take wisdom and lessons away from each and every situation, whether we come out on top or come out, not so on top, we lose. But they're all wisdom and lessons, and we just got to keep learning from that stuff and moving forward in the right direction.
Darvin, yesterday you hinted at a potential lineup change, but so it was something you were considering with your coaching staff. When did you guys officially decide to move Dennis into the starting lineup, and how did that dialogue go between Dennis and Jared, and just kind of him accepting?
Well, that was decided this morning. We had started kicking around the idea yesterday, but the final decision was made this morning by myself and the rest of the staff, and talked to Vando. He understood. He was a trooper about it, and again, it's not about his way, my way, their way, the best way. And we felt like the best way for us to put ourselves in a position to be successful today was to put Dennis, have him start and set the tone on Steph. Vando's done an amazing job. We don't win game one without Vando. We're not in this series without Vando. But it's about the team, what's best for the team. And Vando understood that. Dennis came in and set an unbelievable tone defensively. His relentlessness, he's the best guy to defend him on the team, and not just on the team, but probably one of the best in the league to defend Steph. So we wanted to set that tone early, that defensive mindset, him being aggressive and feisty, and that no-quit mentality, and he got us off to a great start.
Darvin, over here. When did you know for sure that Anthony Davis would be able to play, or was there ever any doubt? And also for a guy who was carried off in a wheelchair the other night to come back in 20 rebound performance tonight, that's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, but that's just who he is. You can't get caught up in the chatter and all the nonsense that goes on outside of our building in regards to AD. I mean, you just have to come in and just understand that there's a plan in place, and our medical staff assured us that he would be okay. It was an unfortunate hit that he took, but he was, by the time we were getting ready to leave the arena in San Francisco, he was already on pace to, start getting himself back together, feeling great. And woke up this morning to a text from him saying how great he felt and so much better, and he couldn't wait to get to the game. And so it's great. We would never play possum or put our players out there without our medical staff really green lighting it. Like we don't do that. And so his ability to come out and his impact was huge on both sides of the ball. He was huge, specifically cleaning up the glass, because again, this team will kill you with their second chance and third chance opportunity. So his defensive rebounding, 17 defensive rebounds, unreal. And so I hope whatever was said, whatever has been said, that he gets the same energy, albeit on the positive side instead of all the foolishness.
Darvin, it's been such a positive national story from the start at 2-10, where you guys did flipping the roster. As a guy in the middle of that to where you are right now tonight, what has impressed you the most in that body of work?
Just the due diligence of the coaching staff, the performance team, our front office, our ownership, constantly, being supportive, being positive. Everybody just, again, seeing ways we can get better, not getting disappointed, not getting discouraged. When there was a lot of times earlier we could have done that. But, this thing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if you take day by day by day and try to get better at something each and every day, and then you get to the point where everybody is on the same page, everyone is holding on to the rope with both hands, pulling in the same direction, you'd be surprised how your circumstances can change for the better. And me being the head coach of this team, just again, them not seeing me sweat, you know what I'm saying? Like, not being too high, not being too low, keeping everything in perspective, but constantly knowing we have to get better, we have to get better, we have to get better. And the only thing I told them is from day one all the way through, we have to be the most competitive, together, accountable team in the league, in the world. And I think we're at that point where we're competing at a very high level. Everyone's on the same page together. And if it's something, any type of breakdown, whatever, we can go have dialogue with one another without anybody taking it personal or somebody, just being slighted. It's real, credible, genuine, a real, credible, genuine attempt to get it right. And that's all you need.
Last one, Bill.
Yeah, Darvin, I know you've always believed in this team, but can even you acknowledge how surreal it is that you're in the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I thank God every day. It's been a hell of a ride, one I hope never ends. We just have to take it day by day and be in the moment. We've gotten past two really phenomenal teams, this recent one being world champions 4 times over. And now we're stepping into another realm, like Bron said, everybody says in the locker room, level 3. So now we got to take our focus, our awareness up a level. And there's only 14, well, it'll only be 4 teams left. But I'm enjoying it. I don't let anything stress me out. It's just, it's fun. It's basketball. And I'm really, really having a ball coaching this team and representing this organization.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Draymond, Steve just said when he was looking around the locker room to come in here, he could just feel and see the fatigue and disappointment on your guys' face. Those are the 2 words he used. Would you agree that those are the overwhelming feelings right now, I guess?
Definitely disappointed. And I think, just don't know how to feel. It's been a long time since we finished in May. So just trying to process the feelings and, move forward. But, anytime you don't win a championship, it's a disappointment. For us, a franchise who prides ourselves on trying to hang banners, But at the end of the day, they were the better team this series, and you got to give them their credit. They did the things that it took to win the series. So tip your hat to them, but it's definitely disappointing to finish, be done now.
This wasn't just like kind of an abrupt, stunning playoff defeat. You guys obviously had a pretty bumpy season the whole way. When you look back, bigger picture at the season, just, where did it kind of get off the tracks, do you think?
I think there were several things that went wrong throughout the course of the season, and also just things that you can't prepare for. Like, it's hard to prepare for the things that happened in the beginning of the season and then bounce back from that. But we did. It's hard to prepare for all the injuries that we dealt with throughout the season, for, missing Wiggs, for the time that we missed Wiggs, and, all the things that's going on. And saying that, there's no excuses. Shit happens throughout every season. And, if you win a championship, it's a battle cry, and it's like, yeah, man, we went through that. We went through this, and we got through it. If you lose, you don't go back and blame all of those things and say, oh, man, this is the reason we lost. No, every season is made up of events. Some are great, some are not. I think for this team, more of the events that aren't so great were so public. And, that's not something that you normally deal with. And so the world knows, the tough times that this team's had. But there's tough times, in every season. Winning a championship, there are tough times. I remember David West said something some years back, and everybody was like, whoa, like, that's every year. Like, it's things going on, and you band together and you try to work around them. And I think, for the most part, we tried to do that. We fell short, and, that happens. But overall, we're not done yet. It was lost this year. We'll be back next year.
On that point, Draymond, to hear you say, we're not done yet,
Steve explained that you and Steph and Klay have a lot of years left together, if you want those. Do you feel the clock ticking a little bit?
I think the clock is ticking on all of our lives, like everyone in here. We all have an expiration date. And so I think the clock is ticking on all of us. As far as basketball goes, 100% is ticking. And that's on every man in this league, every woman that works. That's everybody. And so, yeah, the clock is ticking. I think, when you have so much success, then people start, like, they really put you on that clock, like they put you up against the clock. When you have a ton of success. When you don't have a ton of success, no one cares. No one cares how old you are, how young you are. It doesn't matter when you're not having success. But when you are, every little thing matters. And so the clock is on us just because we've been successful for so long. That's cool. I think that's the position that you want to be in. But for us, we don't pay attention to the clock. We just work and try to win each and every year, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Draymond, first part of this, what was going on with your calf tonight? And although you said you're still processing everything, what are going to be, some of your primary focuses this offseason?
My number one primary focus is my family. That is always the most important thing to me. As far as my calf, I don't know if it was a cramp or if I pulled it a little bit, but when I went back to the back, it loosened up, so I figured it was just a cramp. And I would have went back in the game. Bob stopped me, said we're down 22 points with 5.5, 6 minutes to go. You go back out there and you tear your calf, and then you're rehabbing the rest of the summer, trying to chase a 22-point lead. It's not smart, and we're not doing it. So I could have went back in the game, and I think that's a good sign. And other priorities. I have a media business I'm trying to build. I'll continue to try to build. And then, we'll see what happens as far as my contract goes. Obviously, I have an opt-out. Everybody know about that. I know about that. I'm aware of that. But as I've told you guys, for years, I want to be a Warrior for the rest of my life. I want to ride out with the same dudes I rode in with. And, I think we've put the work in to make that happen. Here we are with our worst season as a whole since 2014. And yet, we had a chance to make another run. So it's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems. But, those are some of my priorities. Travel a little bit, refill the cup, possibly play FIBA. We'll see. And work my ass off and be better next year. It's my priorities.
Draymond, for as far as like this series and this not being a championship team on the floor, what were the missing ingredients? Why were you guys not able to get it done?
Well, I think, I wish I had that answer for you. Why we weren't able to get it done. I think, at the end of the day, you do what you can, you give your best, and if you come up short, which is kind of rare for us, then you just come up short and you figure out why, and you go back to the drawing board and you work and you do what you have to do to make sure that next year it's a different outcome. As far as our roster as a whole, I think we had a lot of good pieces. And, I think everyone in the world will always say our roster can be better. Everybody. As a team, you're always looking to make that better. However, that's not my focus. That's not my job. My job is, the guys that's on this roster to go out there and try to win a championship. We came up a little short this year, but I said, not done. We'll be back to try to do it again.
Hey, Draymond over here. Steph and Klay were 6 for 26 from 3 today, and obviously
shot below their standards for most of this series. Steve was talking about the Lakers defense and maybe a little fatigue. How surprised are you when they miss shots they've made so often over the years, and what do you think caused that more than anything else?
I mean, you got to get our defense credit. You know, the way they were swarming all series, you know, we always talk about that. If you can swarm a guy all series or all night, you know, once they get an open look, it doesn't feel so open because you've just been swarmed, and now you're rushed. And I think for Klay in particular, a lot of his shots he rushed. But when you're so surprised when you get an open look because they're just draped over him. They're not helping. They're not leaving his body. And so I felt like then once he would get an open one, he would rush it. And yet Klay Thompson probably has one of the quickest triggers that we've all seen in league history. So is it actually rushed or is it actually not? I don't know. I'd be sitting there like, Klay, maybe you rushed that one a little bit. But then he come off and hit 5 straight where he doesn't even bring the ball down, and that may look like a rush shot, but that's what he's trying to get to. And so at the end of the day, they missed some shots. They're human. They got great looks, and if they can get the looks that they got, I'll live with that. And if that means our season will end early every year, great. But I don't think that's the case. It hasn't been the case. It won't be the case. But every night is not your night. Every series is not your series. You got to give those guys credit for their defense. Darvin Ham did a great job of implementing a great game plan. They did a good job of executing that game plan. But I thought they had some good looks, and they normally make those looks. They just didn't go in tonight.
Two more on the weekend than Matt. Draymond, we've witnessed so much magic from this team over the years, and Steve said that this year it just sort of felt like this was the maxed out version of this group, that this wasn't a championship group after everything in the regular season and then what you all displayed here. I wonder if you agree with that assessment, with that gut feeling, and then if that is the case with the same core kind of trying to do it again, how do you get back to that?
I think this group definitely maxed out what we could do. It wasn't a championship team. We didn't win it. So, sucks, but that's our reality. That doesn't mean our core changes. That doesn't mean our core can't do it again. They said we couldn't do it again last year. We did it. They said we missed the playoffs this year. We did it. But guess what? We don't do moral victory, so we lost. And this was not a championship group as it stands. But we have champions, and we're made up of champions. And when you are a champion, when you have that mindset, you just go back to the drawing board, retool, refigure it out, and go do it again. And that's what'll be our focus. But it wasn't a championship group. As we can see, we're sitting here and the season's over. So we'll figure it out. This group was maxed. We got what we could get out of it. But this thing isn't maxed. And so we'll get more out of that.
Draymond, what do you think about, through all the adversity that this team went through this season, what did you learn about yourself and this team?
I learned a ton about myself. Number one, just a reminder of how you stand in the face of adversity. I think for me, every time we hit some adversity in life, you either fold or you rise up to it. And I once again reminded myself that I'm capable of rising up to whatever that challenge is. You never know until you go through it. And so for me, myself, I learned some patience. Just how to operate when things aren't quite on your terms and how to navigate those things and, pick and choose your spots. Like I think, this year has helped me as a person as much as it has as a basketball player. So I am not one that, just when things are going well, you're great and everything's fine and you're the man. When things aren't so great, that's when you make yourself. And I feel like for me, that's always my focus is, when your back's against the wall everybody's against you, things are going wrong. How are you going to stand up to that? Are you still going to stand on those same principles you've been standing on? Is you going to still stand on the same business you've been standing on? And for me, I can honestly say I did that. It didn't end the way I wanted it to end and how I would have loved it to end. But I can go home and sleep at night knowing I stand on the same 2 feet, the same business, the same principles, and everything else that I've stood on for the last 11 years. And I can live with that. And, you continue to try to get better as a person, as a basketball player. That's my goal. That's who I am. That's what I've done. I'll continue to do that.
Great. Thank you.
Let's start off with Mike.
Quick one before the real question. Did you know the 50-plus footer was good right away?
It felt good. You don't make many of those, but it did feel good when I shot it.
All right, moving back a little bit now, just kind of the rise, Austin, these last few years, and like this, your postseason now, to be playing almost 40 minutes, relied upon to this degree as an integral part of the team in a Game 6 setting against Golden State. LeBron, AD, Steph, Draymond, Klay, the whole thing. How would you describe what it's been like for you?
Oh, man, this was special. I got a text from one of my really good friends before the series started, right when we won last series against Memphis. And he was just like, no pressure, but, you're about to be in one of the most, the biggest rivalry of, like, my life, ever since, I think, 2015. They've been just battling it out, Brian, Steph, and then their whole core. So it's special to, get that win and to beat a team that's, so established, so good that they've won 4 rings in the past 10 years or whatever. So it just is great. Also, I had my brother here. He flew in from Germany, so it was just a special moment for me.
Dave?
Austin, you guys, I guess your only NBA experience is being a teammate of LeBron James's, but do you feel like playing on his team and going through a regular season where your team is scrutinized and there's a regular season game has more intensity than maybe the average NBA team might have, can make a group prepared for the intensity that comes in the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. Started off 2-10. Was not fun, and when you're in an organization like this, you're expected to win, and rightfully so. But like you said, I feel like until the playoffs, the month previous, that the whole buildup was basically playoff basketball for us. I can't speak for the other teams, but we were in must-win situations for a long time, and to kind of be locked in like that, before this, this is different just because you played the same team, at most 7 times. But to have that attention to detail, the focus that we had to have for the last month of the regular season, I think, like you said, can be a big benefit for us because, like I said, we were so locked in for so long. But yeah, that's really it.
Jovan?
Austin, it sounds crazy, but this was LeBron's first 30-point playoff game since the 2020 finals. Was there a moment pregame or this morning or whatever where you kind of noticed a different vibe or kind of could expect this type of performance from him?
Anytime you step on the floor with him, you'd expect him to do spectacular things. His efficiency was off the charts. But like I said, every time you step on the floor, you expect him to be great because that's what he's done his whole career. And honestly, he can be great and people will still, kill him because he wasn't, who he was in 2013. But his motor from the get-go was special, and his attention to detail, like I've talked about, has been on 10 since, the first game against Memphis. So I'm happy for him. I know he wanted this series really bad.
Jim?
Yeah, Austin. I'm sure there's a lot of eyebrows being raised nationally about 7 seed and all that. Do you guys still do you still feel like you have to prove that you belong here?
No, not really. I think the seeding thing is just a number. when you have guys like Bron, AD, that's won championships, other guys, even Tristan that's, been through the fire with Bron and all those championships, always feel like you have a chance, and especially with the roster that we have, the talent that we have, like you seen, was it Game 4 when Lonnie went out and you put on a clinic, and 3 games before that he wasn't playing. So when you have talent like that, our whole thing before the playoffs was get in. Like, if we get in, we really think in a 7-game series that we would be tough to beat. And, I think that that's been proven these first 2 series. But, we still just got to stay locked in and, focus on the main goal.
Nikki?
Austin, as you look forward, you're about to play in the Western Conference Finals. And when you consider the chip on your shoulder you've had since entering this league, what does this moment mean to you?
Oh, it's special. Like I said, I have my brother here, my mom's here. It's, I don't know. I can't really explain it. But, it was not emotional, like tears-wise, but the feeling when we subbed out, with 3 minutes to go, it was very special. And, to do it with a group of guys like this, we go back, Dennis gets kicked out of the game for, I think, 2 techs, and he's jumping around in the back, celebrating, everybody's celebrating everybody's success. So just to be a part of that special, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Eric?
Hey, Austin. You just guarded Steph, Klay for 6 games. What did you learn about that experience? I mean, the work, the diligence, and what's the difference maybe between guarding one or the other?
They're really good. Is the main thing, both of them. You see Klay goes 3 for 19, 2 for 12. It's not easy, when you have to guard guys that consistently move and the whole team is basically doing what they can do to get them open. It's not easy, but like I said earlier, shout out to the coaching staff for like the chess match that, they have to play against the Warriors coaching staff. They were on top of things, schemes, mixing up stuff. But there's, Steph plays a lot more off the dribble than Klay does, but if you give Klay or any of them or either of them any space at all, is going up, and it's got a really good chance of going in. But I can't lie, I'm happy I don't have to guard them two anymore.
Last question. Miriam?
Congrats, Austin.
Thank you.
Hey, so I want to ask you about, you mentioned the 2-10 start back then. How was Darvin then? So when he would, like, front-facing to us, he would sit there and he'd talk about his beautiful job and this beautiful challenge and how much fun he was having despite everything. Like, what was he like for you guys at that point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 2-10 isn't fun. You always want to win, but as you said, he always had a good attitude coming to work. He said many a times we're employed by the Lakers, the best organization in basketball. So as tough as it is on the court, it could be way worse. Shout out to him for sticking through it. I mean, it's hard. You're getting criticism from everybody. It's his first year head coaching job. So for him to stick with it and gut it out, with us is special. I mean, you can't say enough about him. And like you said, he was genuinely happy to be at work every day, even when we were 2-10. And when you have energy like that, it consistently build good habits, and you want to be around guys like that. So, big shout out to him.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
I believe D'Lo will be next.
This is definitely the first time you've gone out this early. Just what the emotion was in that locker room, moments after this, just seeing the end of the season.
I mean, you're disappointed and kind of shell-shocked that it's over. You pour so much into every season, but coming off of last year, trying to defend and give ourselves a chance to keep advancing. It's a tough way for the season to end. Like you said, it's unfamiliar territory, but proud of the fight that we had, and the Lakers played amazing all series, played to their strengths, and obviously that led to them getting out of the series and moving on. So got to give them credit. They played great basketball, and for us, just an opportunity to kind of take stock of where we're at, keep the confidence that we can come back and be back at this stage next year. So we're kind of in between disappointment, but still, maintaining some pride about how we played this year.
Steve said that he thought you guys were maxed out, and Draymond said he thought that you were maxed out. Did you feel that way? And if so, when did you maybe feel that? Did you feel that during this, did you have a feeling that this wasn't a championship team during the season?
I mean, we lost, so it's like a hard truth at the end of the journey. It's not anything you allow yourself to. No competitor believes that until you're proven that you're not a championship team, and that's what getting beaten in a playoff series means. Basketball is over for this year, so felt it in the fourth quarter with about 7 minutes left. Just really never heard that from us before in terms of trying to make sense of losing a series like we did, unless it's been in a final. So got to accept it, move on, and try to be better next year.
Yeah, I know it's still fresh, but how do you view bigger picture, the future, the decisions that need to be made this summer, and some of the Draymond, Bob, and some of the situations that need to be resolved?
We'll all collectively kind of handle those in the right time. I think obviously start at the top and working down in terms of trying to put together the best team possible next year, making sure all the pieces fit, and understanding how we can retool to put ourselves in a position to be a legit championship contender, because for us that's all we're worried about, and that includes Bob, that includes DG, other decisions that we got to make. But at the end of the day, that'll settle itself over the course of the next couple of months.
Steph, I know it didn't end the way that you wanted it to, but coming into this series, I think Draymond said something to the effect of, well, they have a GOAT, referring to LeBron James, and so do we, referring to you. And a lot of us weren't sure if we'd get to see this battle between you and LeBron again, going through it again, playing in these games again, the moment you all shared on the court. Can you just reflect on that, on this stage, on what this rivalry has sort of meant to basketball over the last couple of years?
I mean, it's just a battle every time, and I know there are a lot of different narratives within each of the series that we've had, and different teams and teammates and all the above. But it's just great basketball, great competition, understanding who LeBron is and who he's been his entire career, and the accolades and the championships he's won and the records that he has. Like, he's an amazing basketball player, and he brings the best out of you, and you have to be your best if you're going to try to beat him. And I think he feels vice versa. And so you love those experiences. Somebody's got to win, and it's part of the nature of what we're dealing with. But there's so much respect and, again, appreciation for the battles and the experiences and the back and forth, because it's basketball at the highest level, and that's all you can ask for.
Steph, there's obviously been a lot of conversation over the years about you guys as an outside shooting, jump shooting team, and you and Klay have established yourself as two of the best, obviously, in history. The last few games weren't at your level, at your standards. How much of that was their defense? How do you sort of view the way the last few days went in terms of three-point shooting for you guys?
It obviously wasn't great, but again, there's a lot of confidence in the ability to continue to shoot at a high level, and you might tweak some things and understand some learning lessons, especially like how Game 4 went, where shots that we wanted to take and make didn't go in, and whatever, you kind of live with that. But as you move forward, you make the necessary adjustments while maintaining the confidence that you can shoot the ball at an extremely high level. I think for us in this series, like, it was a battle of strengths, right? Like, they're an extremely big team, 80 in the paint, Bron flying around all over the place. They were trying to take away certain things, and it worked. We didn't have a change-up pitch to throw, in this series, which kind of what led to, the results. So it doesn't mean you stop shooting. It just means you figure out a different way to be impactful and, come back with the same mindset.
Just a quick follow-up. How much did their size bother you in shooting, do you think, throughout it?
Their game plan was obviously to press up on the three-point line, funnel us in there, 80 in the back, clogging everything up. Like I said, we just didn't have enough variety in the way we were trying to score after Game 2. So good learning lessons for us. When you understand a team that has a guy like him in the paint, we got to figure out different things, and we just didn't do it.
3 more, Dalton, Tim, and then Reaves.
Steve said that it felt like you guys were swimming upstream from the very start of the season. In your eyes, what were the factors that kept obstacles on the road to trying to repeat this season?
You could probably fill in the blank there. From training camp to now, it's just the reality we were living in and trying to keep things positive and optimistic around what we're trying to accomplish this year. And look, we're one of the last 8 teams. It's not a moral victory at all. It's just understanding that, in Game 6 of the conference semifinals, you had a chance to push it to the end. So, again, there's a lot of pride in, there's a lot of pride in what we accomplished, but there's also an understanding that this is not good enough, and we have to be, a lot better next year and start, re-establishing ourselves as a legit championship contender, because we weren't this year.
Steph, when you think about getting better, becoming a championship level team, how much responsibility or onus do you put on the young players? You kind of went into the season with a bunch of them. Obviously, Wiseman got traded, and Moses is the only one. Well, Jordan's playing minutes in the end. How much do you expect from them next season, and how much is there? And was it disappointing not to see them get more time or produce more in these playoffs?
There's a lot in there. I think, everybody's going to get better. Everybody's going to take the next steps. Everybody's going to learn the lessons that you learned this year and try to put them into use next year. I don't know what the opportunity is going to be. I don't know what the roster will look like. I don't know, sitting here right now, what, opening night's going to look like in terms of who's going to be asked to do what. But I have a lot of confidence in everybody being able to take advantage of the summer. Add to your skill set, add to your mental preparation for the year, and the list of guys that kind of fall in that bucket, be ready to take those next steps, because that's the journey of your career that you're always on. So it's just hard to say specifics right now about what it'll look like, because this league is crazy and things can change really quickly.
Last one, Rachel.
Steph, Draymond was just expressing the confidence he has in you, him and Klay as a core, and what you guys can do in the future. What is it for you knowing those two guys, and if you do stay together through the next couple of years, what does that make you feel like you could do?
No matter how different it looks, I think we understand each other, what we all bring to the table, the trust that, we're just going to compete until the wheels fall off. And, that is something that should not be taken for granted in this league, because we've proven that we can do it. And even in this series and this year, like, things were looking bleak at one point in the regular season, and you find yourself in the second round trying to just scratch and claw your way out of it. So we're going to fight and we're going to compete, and we believe in each other. And that goes up and down the roster, and hopefully there's belief in us to be able to lead that. So I feel like that's a two-way street, and that's the progression of the stage that we are in our careers to keep doubling down on it. So I think we're excited about that opportunity, as terrible of a feeling it is as it is right now. I feel like we can come back.
Great, thank you. Want to play in here? He's out in the hall.
Shh. Always hating. You always hating.
Mike, you can start us off.
Hey, D'Angelo, it's been a pretty steady rise since you came to the team, along with the other acquisitions at the deadline. Just wondered how much, at a certain point, did you foresee that the team could be this cohesive, that could get to the conference finals where you're at now?
I told you, honestly, Rob Pelinka can tell y'all right up. I didn't expect this. I didn't think this, so I'd be wrong. I'd be lying to tell you I did. But once we got out there, you could just tell guys liked each other. Guys wanted to play for each other, and it was just contagious. Everybody wanted to win. Everybody wanted to just get the job done every night. And you looked up, we had a chance, and we ran with that.
Just a quick follow-up. Just what have you learned about the duo of LeBron and AD, kind of how to play off them, what kind of advantages that they give you as a team in a playoff series?
I mean, when you throw a bunch of looks at those guys, they kind of seen it all. So for those dudes to just be prepared and a step ahead of almost every coverage, throughout these first few series, those guys were ahead of the curve and they knew what it was, and it allowed us to kind of just fall in line and play off of it.
Kurt?
D'Lo, over here to your left. Can you expand on that when you said with Pelinka, why did it work? A lot of people didn't think it would, but why did it?
He got snubbed for that GM, that award he was supposed to get. He got snubbed for it, honestly, for him to sacrifice the pieces he made to kind of get the right group of guys, that came with that energy. Bunch of guys that were selfless too. Nobody expected or wanted anything. We worked for it all. And we had to touch just a tad bit of chemistry in there, too. It kind of made everything that much easier, just being out there with a group of guys that I kind of had a feel for. And then it just made all the pieces that was here already, it made those guys, feel more comfortable being themselves as well. When you had the right chemistry with guys, it makes it that easy to go out every night and just play for each other.
Helene?
Over to your right. Did you ever have any doubt that AD would play tonight? And, considering how bad it looked the other night, and he comes back 20 rebounds, 17 points, it's pretty amazing.
No, he's a champion, man. I don't think he'd miss a game like that. I think this is the time of the year. If anything's going wrong right now for you, your body, little aches, I think you'll play through it at this time of the year for sure.
Any more questions for D'Lo?
Cold
Thank you.
Oh, y'all know I was about
Let's go.
I was about to get my branding going. All right, well, legacy. Shoot.
Kerr back here, back. Or listen to it, Melissa.
Hey, Klay. Steve Kerr said that he still believes this team has championship potential. Draymond Green said he wants to return and wants to ride out with the same guys he rode in with. How much do you still believe in the core of this team having the potential to go all the way?
I fully believe that, and it stings real bad. It's going to sting all summer. But, first time in a long time that Dre, Steph, and I were healthy and not making the finals. So it's rare to be off during this time of year, but I can tell you we gave it everything we had, and it just stings. But, I believe that we have greatness in our future still.
Klay, coming into this series, you said, facing the Lakers, this is where your hoop dream started, lots of time here in LA. What did you think about your road games here?
Well, it was awesome playing in front of my dad and calling the game. I obviously wish I would have shot the ball much more efficiently Probably had the worst shooting series I had in a long time. At the end of the day, though, I'm still on contract with the Dubs, and I'm going to use it for fuel to be better come next postseason. And just sucks, when you give it your all and sometimes doesn't go the way you want. It's the hardest part of being a pro athlete.
Klay, you mentioned your shooting, and Steph didn't shoot up to his standards in the last couple of games. How much did their size bother you guys, do you think? Not just the two of you, but overall, do you guys need to get bigger as you look forward?
I'm not sure. It's hard for me to assess that right now. I mean, they played very well. Anthony Davis is a monster down there, and obviously LeBron still got it. So it was just a tough series for us, and like I said before, unfamiliar territory being off this time of year, but I know we still got greatness ahead of us, and we just got to use this offseason to get right mentally, physically, and just improve on our weaknesses.
This wasn't just like, an abrupt playoff ending. You guys kind of had a bumpy season all the way to this point. How much did all the challenges that came dating back to preseason all the way through add to, I guess, the challenge of the whole season?
I mean, well, it definitely wasn't smooth sailing, and even for myself, I had a tough start to the year, couldn't buy a bucket, kind of ended the year on the same note. Pretty ironic, but I'm going to continue to work hard, and we did have a rocky season. I mean, it wasn't what we're accustomed to as far as, 67 wins, 73, mid-50s. Played for the 6th seed. We still gave ourselves a fighting chance. But I want to go to battle with any other guy. So I'm proud of everybody on this team. I'm real proud of Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he played with pretty much a broken rib tonight, show what he's about. And we would not, be here without him. So just a tough one, man.
And Klay, obviously these games are really important for you. Did you feel like here in LA, did you feel like you were pressing at all just in this building being here, or was it just shots weren't falling?
I don't think I was pressing. I just think shots didn't fall. Even tonight, I got so many great looks. That's why it hurts, especially early. Got a lot of wide open looks. I don't know if that's fatigue, mental fatigue when I was shooting it short, but it's not the end of the road for me. I still know I have, greatness ahead of me. This is the first full season in 3 years I've had to make it through, start to finish healthy. So that's a positive, and I know I'm going to come back even better next year.
Hi, Klay. This wasn't a sweep. You guys won 2 games, and even you dominated some games. Can you explain the fluctuating scores?
I can't. I mean, it's just hoops. Teams make adjustments. Certain guys step up. And we just didn't have it tonight.
Klay, obviously, fall short. How do you get better, just generally as a team, to get back to where you've been? And how much are you looking for these young players? Do they have to kind of fill larger roles next season?
Well, you come to camp next year in the best shape you possibly can. You come with a fresh mind and the goal of winning a championship. And then as far as our young guys, it's a huge summer for them, just like it is our vets, maintaining our physical health. For them, it's just about improving their game. I mean, that's for all young players in the NBA. It's about adding something every offseason. So we're going to be dependent on them, and that's just the natural progression of team basketball. Is just strength in numbers. Certain guys got to step up. Nice.
Thanks, LeBron. Just going big picture, first of all the battles that you had against the Warriors over the years, and just this one getting to 6 games, having your most efficient game in Game 6. So what has that journey been like for you, and what's the feeling of getting the job done this time?
First of all, nothing but utmost respect for their organization. But as far as the players, Steph, Draymond, and Klay. Those are the guys I've had the most battles with. Those are the guys that I've been in the foxhole with, in a war, with or against, and nothing but respect for them. Obviously for the franchise as well, and for us as a franchise. I mean, it's tonight in general, it was Great to be able to play one of our most efficient games, one of our best games of the series. And it started because of the defensive matchup that we had. We defended at a high level, and when we do that, then we can be extremely good. And I thought we was locked in as close to 40 minutes as possible tonight.
Dave?
LeBron, you've mentioned the phrase "comfortable being uncomfortable" for years, and that was a mantra that you kind of reflect on. How did you have to embody it this season, starting off 2-10, to get to this point to be in the Western Conference Finals?
Just try to be patient and let the man above do what he's going to do. I felt like if we were ever going to be, if we ever had an opportunity to, upgrade our roster, put some more balance around myself and AD, then I felt like we can make a run. I feel like we can make a push, throughout the rest of the regular season, and then going into the postseason. Rob in the front office, they did that. They did that, and then it was up, it's up to me and AD to come through on, the moves that they made, and also, staying healthy, which we wasn't as healthy as we would like to be, but we still played good basketball after the break, and it put us in a position to be able to get in a play-in game, and then play in a couple playoff series so far.
Dan?
AD, two for you. One, we didn't talk to you after Game 5. How did you feel post-game? Were you concerned ever that tonight would be at risk for you?
No.
How'd you feel?
Fine.
and then, secondly, Austin's hit a bunch of big shots for you guys through the course of this season. How big was not only the one right before half, but then the quick one in the third off the offensive rebound for you guys in this game? And what does that say about him in these moments as a second-year player and first time through this?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Austin. He has a lot of confidence in himself. He wants to take big shots. He makes big shots. Coach always tell us, a lot of guys try to not mess up their percentage and not shoot it. But he always tell us, let it go, because you never know what happens. And, tonight he ended up making it. But, he hit some timely buckets for us. And not just tonight, but throughout the course of the series and, last series and throughout the course of the season. So, he found his groove. He's playing well. We definitely will need it next series as well.
Jovan?
I know you guys got a few days to prepare, but what are your early thoughts on the matchup with Denver?
They've been the number one team in the West for a reason. And they've played exceptional basketball all year, and we go in with the utmost respect for their ball club. Very well coached, and obviously we know the dynamic of what Joker brings to the game, and also Jamal Murray being back fully healthy, and the rest of those guys. Tomorrow is a day for us to kind of get away from the game a little bit. Just kind of chill with our families and kind of recoup a little bit. But Sunday and Monday, and then part of Tuesday before the game starts, we will lock in on what we need to do to try to be at our best versus a very very good, well coached team. So I look forward to it when it gets here.
BT?
AD, what do you recall about the last time you guys faced Denver in the bubble in that conference finals in 2020?
It's hard to say just because they're a different team. We're a different team. I think the biggest thing for us was obviously having Dwight kind of disrupt Jokic a little bit. He's obviously one of the two guys that kind of get them going, him and Jamal Murray. And actually, it's funny that me and Brian talked about it earlier about going back, watching that series and kind of see what we did to kind of figure out how we can best match up and get victories over them. So, we'll go back and look at it. But I think the biggest key was just kind of make the ball find the guys we wanted to find and just play off of that.
Nikki?
Yeah, that was one game, though. But, shit, I hope they don't find me. I hope I get another one this series.
LeBron, you found ways to conserve your energy throughout the course of a game, but with this series, big picture, were you able, when you looked at how you thought it was going to play out, were you able to conserve your energy throughout these games to have the impact you did tonight in Game 6?
It may have looked like I was conserving my energy, but I mean, I was dead tired after every one of them games. And it's the same with tonight. You know, you really don't have the opportunity to conserve your energy versus a Golden State team because they always keep you on your heels. You always have to understand and know that, you know, anytime you relax, they'll make you pay. So, you know, for me tonight, I was just felt pretty good about my game, like I do every night, and I just wanted to try to come in and, you know, make some plays and be efficient and defend at a high level, help AD rebound, help our team, you know, make winning plays, and I was able to make a few of them.
Last three. We'll go Kurt, Jim, and Helene.
To either one of you guys, LeBron, you talked about how you guys upgraded the roster. When Rob Pelinka and the front office flipped this roster, and you look back to where you are right now, why did it work?
Well, it gave us a lot of shooting, obviously, you know, with D'Lo and Bees, you know, and Mo Bamba when we got there. It gave us a lot of shooting, a lot of space to be around myself and AD. We play on the perimeter, but we're not like three-point shooters. You know, I know I take my fair share, but you know, when you have that, you know, that space, it allows us to do what we do best and kind of, you know, play downhill. But also, it just gave us a lot of depth. It gave us a lot of depth. You know, it gave us another ball handler and D'Lo to kind of take some pressure off DS and take some pressure off AR at times, and even myself. It gives us a lot of length when we added Rui and added Vando. You know, so you know we were very small early in the season. You know, so we would get stops, but our rebounding was very difficult and challenging for us. So now with the length that we had, we was able to you know, rebound a lot better. You know, and then I think the guys that came in, they just came in with no expectations. They just came in and say, okay, well, let's figure this thing out. You know, and from my point of view, a lot of them games, I mean, from 4.5 weeks, I was sitting. I was out because of my foot injury, and I was just watching and seeing, you know, how could I be better? You know, how could I, you know, once I come back, how can I, you know, put myself in a position to help this team continue to thrive like they were doing. And I just got super excited, probably seeing a lot of my tweets when I was not playing, and I was just super excited about the games and being played, and I couldn't wait to get back. So, I mean, it's a lot more, but that's the cliff notes of it.
Last two.
Hey, LeBron, do you guys feel like you're playing with house money at this point?
What does that mean?
Well, I mean,
I know what it means.
As far as expectations from the outside.
Nah. As Vanda will say, nah. We're trying to win every hand. We're trying to win every hand.
That's your expectation. Our expectations inside.
Yeah. Nah.
Way higher than, you know, showing up to the Western Conference Finals.
AD, wanted to ask about the rebounding tonight, and also whether you were you focused on rebounding tonight, and at any point did you feel hesitant or did you feel okay the whole time?
No, I felt fine. The times that they beat us, you know, they got a lot of offensive rebounds and kicking out to 4 threes or getting, you know, second chance points. So I just wanted to have emphasis on rebounding basketball and limit their offensive rebounding. They got a couple, but I just wanted to make sure that I did my part in, you know, trying to get every rebound possible on both ends on the floor, but mainly defensively to limit them from those second chance points where they're most deadly.
Thanks, fellas.